What's going on, culés? Welcome back to BlaugranaZzone, your destination for all things Football Club Barcelona. So today, I've just been having a really good day. I'm feeling more cheerful. I've got a smile on my face even at work, even doing the most mundane of tasks because Real Madrid have collected their loss. Liverpool finally got their get back. Thank you, Liverpool. You know, we're going to forget about those 8 goals you hung up on us in 2020. The past is the past. But today, Liverpool, you've made me smile. Alexis McAllister, another Argentinian legend in my book. That goal was a thing of beauty. I love Real Madrid tears. So today has been absolutely perfect for me. I just need Barça to go ahead and finish the job with Club Brugge tomorrow. And the convo list from Hansi Flick is out now. Obviously, we have a lot of people still missing. But very excited to see the players that we're expected to take with us when we go against Club Brugge. So we have Chesney, Diego Kochen, and Eder Aller as our goalies. We've called up Alejandro Balde, Ronald Araujo, Pau Cubarsí, Gerard Martin, Jules Kounde, Eric Garcia, and Javi Espart, who hasn't really gotten much playing time. When you compare him to Joffrey Torrens, right? Who I thought would be a pretty good pick to bring with us. But you know what? We're going to give the young La Masia gems a try. And I think a team like Club Brugge, who's been, getting a beating from every club in Europe, I think we should be able to hold our own. Even our young La Masia talents should be able to hold us down defensively, at least, for this game. Midfielders we've called up: Fermin Lopez, Marc Casado, Dani Olmo, Frankie de Jong, Marc Bernal, and Dro Fernandez. Dro is another obvious La Masia gem who's been coming out as a potential backup to Fermin if Dani Olmo doesn't work out, which honestly this season Dani Olmo has not been working out. So Dro is obviously going to be like an heir to Fermin Lopez, which I'm all for. I see little bits of Pedri in Dro, and to have that kind of ball knowledge at 16, 17 years old is absolutely insane, and it's just a testament of how La Masia can crank out these talents. And then our forwards that we've called up: Ferran Torres, Robert Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, Marcus Rashford, and Rooney Bargi. It's crazy that in a list with 5 forwards, one of them who was just the Ballon d'Or runner-up, the other who is an absolute club legend in Germany, they're all being outdone by Marcus Rashford. A washed-up Marcus Rashford, just turned 28 years old, is trying to make a name for himself again at Barcelona. And honestly, he has over 10 goals and assists already for this season. I think he's already doing more than enough for us to sign him permanently at the end of the season, at least. I think Rashford is doing more than his job. He's holding his own at Barcelona. He's obviously trying to make up for the hole that Raphinha has left in this squad. And hey, even Lewandowski, right? Because we've had Ferran Torres starting a lot. We've had Rashford in the number 9 role as well. Everybody's tried, Araujo's tried the number 9 role. Like, we are putting anyone in there because it is so difficult to cover the hole that Lewandowski leaves on this team. And last year may have been the last year we get prime Lewandowski, like Lewandowski looking like Dortmund Lewandowski, because this year hasn't been it. And it's been more than just injury, because even pre-injury, Louis wasn't looking the same as he did last season. I think the pressing just wasn't there. I think last year he kind of dropped more and played almost in that cam false 9 position, but whatever. That's a conversation for another day because we obviously need a striker for the future. But the point being, Rashford is outshining everybody right now. I definitely expect him to put in the work against Club Brugge on Wednesday. I could definitely see Rashford scoring in that. And I think to start, this is going to be my predicted lineup, right? This is not confirmed. This is just what I think looking off of the list of ballers that we've called up for this game. Chesney obviously gets to start in goal. And I think Cubarsí is going to be on the bench just because he didn't have a great game against Madrid. He didn't start in the weekend against Elche. He came on, I believe he came on later in the game, but even then, no, he didn't come on at all against Elche. So I think more likely than not, Cubarsí won't start. So from the left to the right, we could expect to see Alejandro Balde, Ronald Araujo, Eric Garcia, and Jules Kounde, which I would be honestly very excited about. I would be more than excited to see what's it called, Eric Garcia back in that center back position with Ronald Araujo. That's a very good pairing. Or alternatively, we could see Balde, Araujo, Kounde, and on the right side, Eric Garcia. Because Eric Garcia has become like a Swiss Army knife of defenders, right? He could play CDM, he could play CB, he could play right back. There's no position that Eric Garcia can't fall into and play effortlessly, right? So I think that that could be any one of those two is going to be our iterations of our defense against Club Brugge. In the midfield, I think our strongest lineup would look like Frankie de Jong, Marc Casado as CDMs, and Fermin as the cam. Because nobody can do what Pedri can do, but Marc Casado comes very, very close to doing what Pedri can do. And that's not to say that Pedri is an ordinary talent. It's just to say that Marc Casado has been overperforming. He's been doing very well. A play from Marc Casado that sticks out for me a lot is El Clásico of last year in October. That pass to Lewandowski was a thing of beauty. I still think about that pass to this day because nobody saw that pass coming. I was watching that game live and I couldn't see that pass coming. His vision is something else, and I think he can definitely have a Pedri-esque career at Barcelona. And then our forwards, I think Lewandowski won't start. Lewandowski's not going to get the start. He's way too fresh. He just started training again with the team. And I don't think Hansi Flick is going to be in any type of rush to get Lewandowski back on the field. So I think Lamine will be on the right side. I can expect Rashford on the left side. And at the number 9, I think we're going to see Ferran Torres again. And I don't think this will be a negative showing for Ferran, but we're definitely going to need more from him than we've been getting these past few games because Ferran, when he's not in shark mode, when he's not fully attacking, looking for goals, we might as well have me out there at the number 9 position because we're getting the same goal contributions, me sitting on the couch and him being on the field. So clearly we need some reinforcement in that area. But that's how I think Barcelona will line up against Club Brugge this Wednesday. And now let's touch on the game from the weekend, Barcelona versus Elche. We beat down Elche 3-1. I was honestly expecting like a 5-0 because the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, Barcelona were on a roll. Lamine Yamal was looking like single Lamine Yamal, you know, pre-Nicky Nicole, pre all of the 40-year-old women that had been throwing themselves at him. Lamine was looking like a baller all over again. But I think this pubalgia injury that he's been having, you know, Franco Mastantuono has it now from Real Madrid. Nico Williams from Atletico Bilbao also has this issue. I think this has been something that young players have been getting because the workload has been too much on them. Obviously, Lamine has been carrying this team, so it's more than expected from him. But a player like Franco, brother, what are you carrying exactly? Bench minutes? Nico Williams, what are you carrying exactly? The injury report? I don't understand for those players. But Lamine was looking very well for the first maybe 20 minutes against Elche. He got his banger goal maybe 10 minutes in. Beautiful assist from Balde. When we have Alejandro Balde attacking like that, even Kounde, because last year we saw it a lot from Kounde, whether it's the Clásico banger that he scored, whether it's the assist against, I don't know if it was Inter or that Portuguese club that we faced last year, but Kounde was just getting into the attack last year all year, and we have not seen that Kounde at all. But we are starting to see that again from Alejandro Balde. And I think that our team can go as far as our defenders will take us because we need players like Kounde, like Balde, to kind of rotate between Lamine and Rashford, kind of running up and down the pitch, whether it's getting back on defense or cutting inward to make passes, just like Balde did for Lamine's goal. But honestly, that Lamine goal was a banger, sure, but it seemed ordinary for Lamine, right? Which is insane to say, but this is a player who can be the heir to Leo Messi. He could be the face of football for a whole new generation, right? So when I see a goal like that being scored from Lamine, I'm like, okay, cool, but you could have made that 10 times cooler because he's done it already over and over again. Ferran Torres got his goal in. It was a very clean goal, but honestly, I think I could have scored. And that's just to say, Ferran Torres had such a good season last year where he won't score the easiest goals, but the most difficult goals, he can make them look very easy. What comes to mind is that goal he scored against Dortmund in the UCL last year. I think he had like two on Dortmund that were from angles that nobody can figure out. Ferran Torres is just a freak of nature on the ball. Marcus Rashford also scored. Rashford, every touch that he gets, every look that he's getting right now has been so clean. I'm more than happy with how Rashford is turning out, but it also makes me think what could have been with Nico Williams, right? Because obviously Nico's not working out for Bilbao, but that's in Bilbao's setup. Barcelona plays a bit more like how the Spanish national team plays, in that we have Lamine on one side, Nico on the other side. Defenders won't know what to do. But with Rashford, I think defenders are maybe not giving him the respect that he deserves. And he's just putting belt to ass right now until defenders start maybe doubling him the way that they double Lamine. I was very impressed with Rashford's minutes. Rashford is a player that I think he's outshining everybody on Barca right now. And I don't know if that's to say that our effort has dropped off or Rashford is just picking up to an extreme that nobody was expecting. But let me just break down how we lined up against Elche. So we had Lamine, Ferran, Rashford. Right under them, we had Frankie de Jong and Fermin Lopez as the two CDMs, and we had Marc Casado in the middle. And then our back line was Jules Kounde, Ronald Araujo, Eric Garcia, and Alejandro Balde. I think besides our offense, I think our defense may look more or less the same against Club Brugge. The only thing I'm not liking is Jules Kounde at the right back, because he has been looking so lazy. Even Hector Fort, who we've loaned out to Elche, was looking better than Kounde. And he was looking pretty good in the preseason, but Hector Fort was not looking as good as he did in this game for Elche. Even though he came on as a substitute, he had some very good minutes against us. Rafa Mir scored a very clean goal that I think could have been avoided. But Elche's press was looking very scary. Very scary to the point where I thought we could possibly end this game in a tie, because they were just press and press and press. After we scored the first goal, they pressed us for so long. The next time we got the ball successfully in their half is when we scored, because they were pressing so much. They were so focused on running to beat us to the next pass that they tripped over themselves, allowed us the opportunity to score the second goal, and that's when it was game over for them. Because once you give us a little bit of space, we're taking all of it. And I think that's where Barcelona could really punish their opponents. But it's only a matter of time before we get Raphinha back. It's only a matter of time before Olmo stops being asked. It's only a matter of time before Lewandowski's back to full health. It's only a matter of time before Joan Garcia is back in the goal. And I think with all of these injuries and all these setbacks and all of these, players not playing in form, it's caused us to only really lose two big games, the Madrid game and the Sevilla game. And the only reason that the Madrid game feels so big is because the Sevilla one was maybe a week before, 2 weeks before, and that was a 4-0 or a 4-1 beatdown that really shattered all of our confidence. I think even Lamine's, because against Real Madrid, the only one to score was Fermin Lopez, and he looked as dominant as ever. I think Fermin, hearing all the noise from Prem League fans calling him a bust, saying that he's overpriced, saying that we're overvaluing him, I think that's really woken up a new demon in Fermin Lopez that I've been seeing it since last year. They've been telling me in the Chaos chat that I'm crazy for backing Fermin. Will asked me, do you really back Fermin as a baller? Brother, yes. Fermin will put any other cam to rest. Fermin, bro, Cole Palmer can't lace Fermin's boots. I don't think any cam is touching Fermin Lopez on his day, right? Just like Danny Olmo could be one of the best cams in the world on his day, but lately it just hasn't been that for him. This Barca team has been looking pretty good despite all of our major setbacks. And even with those major setbacks, only losing those two big games is really not that bad. I understand that many fans want to, ring the alarms. They want to code red for Barca, maybe shut down the season because things have been getting so much. We are second in the league. We're 5 points behind Real Madrid. And honestly, these guys bottled a 9-point lead in January of last year. They were way ahead of us and we still caught them. So I think, fans, we just got to stay calm. Trust Hansi Flick. There's another Clásico coming in May. We still got the UCL to focus on. Those bums just dropped points against Liverpool. I think we're in a good position right now to start ice picking away at those leads that they have and ultimately win the league, win the Copa del Rey, go back to back and everything. Brother, we could win a UCL. Hey, who knows? Liverpool just lost 7 out of 8 games and they come back to win Real Madrid 1-0. Who knows what's going to happen? And I think that's the most exciting part about this season. Let me know what you guys think in those comments. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my takes from today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y VISCA BARÇA.